What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy C-Dub, aka Whit, coming at you guys again with another video. And this time it is the Tour de Murrieta circuit race, and we're here at the start, and it's about to go down. All right, guys, so here we go. Thank you for clicking this vid. You are in for a 38-minute video, and I ask that you would go ahead and get comfortable. If you're on a trainer, if you're on your bike or whatever, and you're watching this video, if you're in the gym, I ask that you would get your water bottle. Hopefully you got some electrolytes, and it's about to get it. We're about to get it in right here in my first commentary for a circuit and or road race type of video. So yes, this race was 37 plus miles, and I actually have cut out a good bit of it because nothing extremely exciting happened in this race. We just ran around. This race was 9 laps long. And so what you're going to see here is the first 2 laps. I actually cut the camera, and then I originally had started the camera with 4 laps to go. But what you will see today, as noted after 22 minutes of this video, is that what you will see is the last 2 laps of this race. You also saw the last 2 laps in the vlogger video of this race, or this race day, because I had put on there bell lap and noticed that it was actually 2 more laps. So please don't persecute me. So you will get those same 2 laps again, but this time with commentation, or with a commentary. So right now we're coming our way, and the course had actually changed a little bit because a bridge was out. So we're about to make a left-hand turn right here, and this really was touch and go here. I mean, a lot of brakes. You smelled a lot of caliper. You smelled a lot of carbon brake dust, and you could just smell it going in the corner. But every single time we came here, people were on their brakes, and you come out of that turn there, turn number 1, and you come up here to turn number 2, and people kind of hit the brakes again. And then after turn number 3, it opened up a little bit. But as you see right now, just kind of getting a feel for it. Heart rate is at 121, which I think that is incorrect. I think my heart rate monitor sometimes goes a little wonky on me. So right now the heart rate is not correct at all. Hopefully that will kick in and work properly. But we are going 25, 26 miles an hour with a cadence just over 90. You see there I'm pushing well over 400 watts, anywhere between 350 to 400 watts. And again, you see I'm getting passed underneath me. And again, just getting a feel for this race. Right here you had Conrad McGurry with SDBC, and he was a guy that I had marked in the criterium or the Grand Prix the day prior, and he bridged up and I lost contact with him. And then just coming underneath me right here you have Josh, and he's somebody else that I have learned is a very strong rider, and I kept my eyes out for him because he's very, very strong. So right now what you're going to get, you're going to get a commentary for the first 2 laps and the last 2 laps of this race. That's Jed right there. This is Jed's first race. This is his first series of racing for the year, for the season. He hasn't done any of the CBRs yet, so he told me that Saturday that the Grand Prix was his first race of the season, and this is his second race. So kind of like me last year, but this is a very, very good event to make your first race experience if you are prepared for racing. So right now, because it is a road race, tempos will kind of be at some points a really relaxed tempo. As you see right now, we're going 19 miles an hour. We're not out here crushing it, but you do see I'm pushing anywhere between 250 to over 400 watts, just maintaining, because there are some rollers on this course. And over time, again, this race was actually 9 laps long, and this these rollers on this back side really they add up after a while. So right now you see we're going 16 miles an hour, 4% grade right here. I think my heart rate monitor still is jacked up, unless my heart rate is just really getting good. But I think this is wrong. My heart rate's wrong. Again, just pushing over 200 watts. Drop down because now we're going downhill. So just went up over a little roller, which had a 4% in it, and now we're rolling. Again, I have Jed right there, number 426 to my left, and I also have Rusty right in front of me with his slow burn kit on right here in front of me. Behind me, not much going on. I'm kind of towards the back, as I see not too many cyclists behind me, but there is a plethora of them in front of me. So this right here was another little kicker right after that turn, and you see now we're going 19 miles an hour plus going down this hill. My heart rate, I think now is kind of kicking in. It says I'm at 132 beats per minute, and but you see not a lot of power because we're downhill, kind of in a little dip right here, and we're going to come to another little roller that, you know, again, over time it taxes the legs. So right now we're going up a little bit, and you can see how 1% grade, you see my wattage is up over 300 just to make it over this little roller. And over time I realized that the more momentum I could carry down that hill actually would help me going up that little roller right there. So now we're going down at this long straight here, as you see the map in the top right. So this is a long straight, and I believe there's like one more little roller here, I believe. I think it is. Actually, it's right after the turn, I think. Once we get up here and make that right-hand turn, there's going to be another little climb, I believe. Yeah, I did all 9 laps and can't remember the course, so please forgive me. It's just been a few days later of me doing this video, as you can see. So there we got Ron Tello coming underneath me right there in the old teammate Paddock Racing team. That's Ron Tello coming underneath. And again, not much going on behind me. A lot of people are in front of me, and I was sitting in the back just trying to learn from my mistakes the day prior. And yes, a road race is different. I should have probably been more in the middle of this Peloton just to protect from the wind, to preserve my legs as we got closer and closer to the actual 9 laps. But right now, just sitting on Ron Tello's wheel. Here's that little climb I was talking about right here. So nothing serious. I mean, 3%, which is decent, but this is kind of like the feed area also for like the pros. There's Irvin in the breakaway kit, the orange, gray, black kit with the yellow Force Tri socks on. Those things look good, brother. But also, just to let you all know, I am a brand ambassador for Force Tri, and if you want some socks, I would highly encourage you guys to go over to Force Tri's website. I believe it's forcetri.com, and if you order you some socks, you can put in my discount code, which is CW2019, and you will get 15% off of your order. Again, that's CW2019, and you will get a discount. Additionally, I recently have become a brand ambassador for Myogenics, and that is a supplement company. And if you want a discount, you can also leave me a comment requesting discount for that one, and I will give you the discount for that, just to see if you've made it this far in the video. But right now we've come through the turn, and the momentum picks up because we're actually just a few turns away from the start finish line. So you see here we're going 27 miles an hour. My heart rate is at 141. Again, heart rate monitor is acting wonky. I'm not sure if I need to change the battery. I may just go ahead and change that, just because it has been acting a little weird off and on here and there. So now that I'm actually doing the commentary portion and paying attention to this information, it is letting me know that it's still acting crazy. So after this turn right here, we have a left-hand turn and then another right-hand turn, and that will bring us to the start finish, and that will be the conclusion of lap number 1. So you see it'll be roughly, each lap was probably just over 10 minutes, 11 minutes and some change. And so it shows you that, you know, 9 and 10 will give you roughly about an hour an hour and 30 minutes of a race. So 9 laps for 10 minutes per lap, 10 to 11 minutes per lap would give you about just over probably near an hour and a half. And it was a little cold this morning. You saw Irvin there hitting his hand against his leg, and Rusty was also doing it in the race because it was cold that morning. I believe it was low 40s this morning. I had my neck gaiter on. I also had like a winter cap on. I think I had knee warmers on as well, just trying to stay warm because it was a little frosty this morning. Yeah, I know 40 is not what it is in some other places, but for us out here on bikes going 26 miles an hour, that wind chill is no joke. So I think the heart rate monitor is kind of getting its mind right. My heart is at 161. That sounds more realistic, especially doing a race. A lot of times, even when I'm doing a zone 1 recovery ride, my heart can easily creep up over 130, depending on if I'm doing a little climb or something like that. But my max heart rate is 199. And as you will see, once we pass this thing, the little clock on the right-hand side has 8 laps remaining. So right now, still sitting behind Irvin, and I believe this is Zach in front of me with the Courier kit. So yeah, I'm sitting right behind Zach, and not Courier, but Cognition. I'm sorry about that. Mark Aguilar rides for Courier. But yeah, so this is Zach in front of me with his Cognition Racing Team kit on, and number 437. That's Zach right there. And so I'm just sitting in the back. And again, heart rate is at 166. Again, that looks more realistic. And the speed is at 27 miles an hour. And the first major turn is just down the road here. We're going to make a hard left, as you saw on the previous lap. Not much going on behind me in the rear camera. Again, it's a road race. To be honest with you, this is my first road race, and now actually doing the commentary, I see that there's not a lot of action really going on. Everybody's sitting in. We know we have 8 more laps to go. So I think the ultimate objective for most people is just to conserve as much energy as they can and to just make it there for the last lap. And I didn't, with this being my first road race and actually even being in contention for this thing, meaning pretty much being with them for all 9 laps, I didn't hear any information about preems. So I'm not sure if they give preems away for in road races. I'm not sure. I didn't hear them, and this was a Cat 4 race, so I didn't hear them say anything about preems, maybe because it's a road race. Again, this is my first road race, being actually with the group for a good portion of the race. So last year when I did this, of course, preem wasn't even on my mind because I was off the back so soon. But yeah, so that was interesting as well, to be doing another race, specifically a pure Cat 4 race, and no preems were offered. So if you guys have ever experienced doing a circuit race or a road race and they actually gave preems away, let me know down in the comment section below, because we didn't get any of this one, but we did get they did give away preems in the Grand Prix. So right now I'm behind Rick. So Paddock Racing Team has a couple of members in this race. They have Ron Tello, who you saw earlier, and who was wearing the Black Panther kit, and then you have Rick here to my left wearing the Stormtrooper kit. So they're rocking their 2 kits in this race, and Ron raced on Saturday. I believe he got like 5th or 6th. So great job to you, Ron. And Rick came up for the actual circuit race. So Rick did not race the Grand Prix, but he is here getting it in on the day on stage 2 of the Tour de Murrieta. If you can see up there right in the middle with the guy with the orange helmet on, that is Mark Aguilar with the Courier team. And this is him right here to my left, number 400, for Hundo. That's a good number, Mark. That's funny. 400 is a good number, even when doing what you do, ... breaking away. 400 watts, I've learned, is a good wattage to be able to operate in, especially when you're going for breakaways, attempting to do breakaways. That's just a good solid number. that really puts a hurting on people. So that's something that I've also learned just by watching data, watching numbers, and then watching other people's videos to see how many watts they're putting out when they're breaking away or making some serious moves. So right now, sitting on Irvin's Will, as you saw, he just hit his hands on his leg because, again, hands are cold. He got them fingerless gloves. Brother, you're going to get you some full-finger gloves. But I think his hands are cold, so he's just trying to keep the blood flowing in those fingertips. But you see some guys on the left-hand side there moving up. You see Conrad with the blue bike, the white helmet with the blue bike with SDBC. He's moving up on the outside there. And yes, this race did have centerline rule, and the way that they did that is that they deemed certain sections to where we could actually go over the center line. Like if you look in my back camera, you see this guy coming up on the right side of the camera. He's kind of riding the line just a little bit. You see a lot of people there. They're here on the line, but we're about to come up on a turn. So we started, as the race went on, we tried to stay to the right side of this. And this is a little climb right here. And this one took a lot of energy out of the legs as well. But what we started doing as the race kind of grew its own character is that, we weren't necessarily fully staying in the right lane, going through turns. We would actually kind of bubble it out like we've been taught in the beginner racer program, or just from watching video of other people. You kind of go outside, inside, outside. And so we kind of would take our turns a little wide, which would cause us to go over the line. But they didn't really penalize us there. But if you went across the yellow line in areas that they have deemed do not do that, and they caught you, what they would do is the officials would actually mark you, and then they would ensure that you would drop to the back of the Peloton, and then that would be kind of like your penalty. And I don't know how many times they'll allow you to do that, but I can tell you this: it would suck being up in the front of the Peloton, accidentally going over that line, and then being brought to the back of the Peloton and having to work your way up. Additionally, we just passed a lady, and there's multiple races going on this course. So our race was the first race of the day at 7:30, and I believe the second race went off, which was the 4-5 race, that went off at 7:35. And I believe there was another race like at 7:50. Don't mark me for that, but there were a few races or a few categories actually racing the course at one time. And there was a few times where we had to actually go around. I believe the women was one, and I think maybe even the Cat 4-5 group as well. So I think we went around the women twice, and then we went around the 4-5 group once. But yeah, so what they'll do is they would slow down the slower group, and as the faster group is coming up on them, they would allow them to go around them and then come back on the right side of traffic. So right now, as you still see, sitting on Rick, or sitting behind Rick right here, and he is riding his new LA Sprint that he got from one of his teammates in Hawaii. He actually sold it to him and he shipped it over. So that was an awesome thing. But yeah, Rick is crushing it on that new LA Sprint. So I believe this is Ron Tello behind me. The kit looks familiar. I think that is Ron Tello behind me. And we're just making our way on the back straight. And again, this is the area. This area back here is where the feed zone was. So, in the pro races and stuff, because their race is a lot longer. I think it's like 90 minutes at times or something like that. It's a lot longer than ours. I mean, even though I think ours is. So you see right now we're across the line, and then if you look, I think we're about to pass. We're either about to pass a group, or we're about to go through a turn. Excuse me. But you see, we're all on the left-hand side of this road. And I'm just trying to stay in the middle of who I can. But yeah, we're coming up on the turn because there's a truck on the right-hand side. So we all went over to the left just to avoid that truck. But we are coming up on a turn here. And with this massive group of people, there wasn't a lot of communication when it came to making turns and doing things like that. So it's like you almost didn't know about it until you were right up on it, which is kind of weird because there's so many people and we all kind of know the rules and the etiquette of cycling. But I think so right now, as you see, we're passing the women on the right. So here's all the women you see there. We passed them we passed them on the left, but they're on our right. They were neutralized while we passed them, and you can see them in the rear camera as we just kind of clearing all that up. But I think the issue is that because we're competing, we're all racing against one another. We kind of let that etiquette go, you know. And so you hear some of us, we would say, you know, turning or you know, slowing, kind of the same etiquette that we would use in a normal everyday bicycle ride. You know, it kind of went out the window here because it was a race. So that was interesting. So you really had to keep your eyes and your ears open, and then you had to also learn the course. If you didn't get the opportunity to do a recon ride or drive the course before the race actually started, you kind of had to just be very aware and then learn the lines as you took the course. You know, so right now, again, we're just noodling, 23 miles an hour, 21 miles an hour, going into the second to last turn before the start finish. And yeah, so this is why, because it's very long. I mean, look, again, it's like 10.5 minutes. There's Jed to my left. You got Jed to my left. You got Mark right in front of me. You got Zach right in front of me. You got Rusty on my wheel. So we're currently back here just hanging out. You got Ron a few bodies up there with the neon yellow helmet. And so we're just kind of sitting in the back of the Peloton, taking it in for what it's worth. Because, again, this is only the second lap, and there's 8 more laps to go. And, again, with each lap being roughly about 10.5 minutes, man, that's a long journey. And actually, my lower back was a little sore after this race, which has never happened before in a crit. So that was yet another experience. But I know it was just from being in that very aggressive position. And so right now you see here, it says I've stopped the camera and we started with 4 laps to go, but you will see the last 2 laps. So here we go. This is we just passed the start finish. Excuse me. And these are the last 2 laps. So fast forward everything, and you know, now we're here. These are the last 2 laps. So you see just a guy up in front of me. That is actually Conrad with the red SDBC kit on, and I'm riding the middle line. And so I'm at the back here. I think I'm still sitting in the back. I think that's Mark just behind me in the courier kit. With the yellow helmet on or orange helmet, excuse me. Yeah, that's him. And so right now we're sitting in the back. I'm actually still with the group. So we got 2 laps to go, and I'm still with the group. And I was actually very, very shocked to still be with the group. We're coming up on that left-hand turn, and it really amazed me that I was still with the group at this point in the race. I was really baffled because last year, at this point, I believe I was already pulled. Like I was off the back, and they pulled me. And so I was like, okay, all right, man, I got 2 laps to go. I'm feeling all right. And what I had to do was I had a energy shot from Isogenics, not Myogenics, but I think Isogenics. I had an energy shot from them that I had received at one of the CBR races. And I had it in my jersey pocket, and I had already taken off the plastic covering so that I could pretty much just, you know, use my mouth to open the bottle and get that shot of energy in me. And to be honest with you guys, it actually worked. I took that shot, and then I kind of just chased it with some water, and that actually helped me through roughly about 2.5 to 3 laps. So I was very happy that I put that in my pocket and did not leave it in my travel bag because I actually needed it. But I believe right here in this course, once we get to the backside, I think the juice started to run out. So yeah, the juice started to run out. But with the juice running out being said, I ask you all, if you have not already, please subscribe to the Crit Whit Road Runner family. And I ask that if you're watching this video, because I have roughly about 50% of the people, it's between 44 to 50% of the people that watch my videos, but yet they have yet to subscribe. And so I ask that if you are previewing the Tour de Murrieta circuit race video with 2 laps to go, I ask that you will go ahead and click that red button. I mean, my goodness, it is free. It don't cost you anything to click that button and help your boy out. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers and onward to 1 million if the Lord be willing. So right now you see Zach all the way on the inside there in the blue cognition kit. You see I'm holding out to the outside here. That's just the line that I was taking, not saying it was better or worse, but that was just the line that I took. So again, this is my first road race of the season, my first circuit race of the season, and really is a gauge for me if I'm going to do any more road racing. And Zach actually asked me after this race was over, because I finished. I did finish. I did not get pulled, and I did not finish last. As some of you all will know, according to the vlogger video, that he said, so now are you going to be road race Whit? And I was like, I don't know about that. I like crit Whit. That I like how that's catchy. I like that better. And I'm more of the short-winded guy. I'm doing road races is not really my forte. Now, I do not disrespect them, and I do understand that they are there to make me stronger as a crit racer. But to do these competitively, I think I'm a little too big for that. My body really likes to stay between 235 and 238. My body just likes it, especially with me getting a little bit older. My body, it really likes that range of weight, 235 to 238. So with me being a bigger rider and kind of accepting it, but wanting to be smaller, road races, we shall see what the future holds. I'm all about seeing what the future holds, because I don't really have a definitive answer. So right now we're climbing this, and I'm like, okay, this is hurting just a little bit. Nothing serious, nothing to be too concerned with, but yet just be mindful of it. And so you see here, I'm trying, and at this point in the race, I'm like, all right, I keep getting gapped here. So let me just put down a little bit of effort, just a little bit of an effort, just to stay with the group. And also, you see I popped out there because I was really close on his wheel, and I didn't want to use any brakes here, so no brakes in this section. I wanted my momentum to carry me up this climb. So usually I was hitting, I think, between 350 to 400, 415 watts to get up over that little climb. This time I was like maybe 360 to 380 watts to get up that. So the momentum going down that hill and not braking behind this go fast guy actually helped me to minimize the amount of wattage that I use to get up and over that small little climb. And so right now we're just working our way down the back straight, and I really was like, man, this is a good area to be able to reassess myself, to see how I do. So again, this is lap number, I want to say this is lap number 8. And, once we finish this, then we'll be on the final lap. So this is lap number 8, and I got Ron Tello to my 1 o'clock. I got Mark right behind me in the rear view camera. And so I had some hitters in my view. I got Irvin right there to my, I believe that's Irvin, to my 2 o'clock, if not 3 o'clock right there to the right. No, that's not him. That's that's not even an SDBC guy. Some of these kits look similar, but I thought that was Josh, but that was not him. But yeah, I felt I was in a good spot because, some of these hitters, there's Irvin right there, 439, I believe that's him, all the way to the right over there. And so here's a little climb. We got 3% right here. Heart rate's at 165, which again, I think that's kind of low. SDBC, they show up and they are thick in numbers, and that's very respectable. You got Jed in the rear view camera right back there. He's coming up underneath me right now. And I'm just still sitting in the back, not all the way in the back. I'm kind of maybe closer to the middle right now. There's Mark. And again, we're coming up to a turn, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm still here with the group. I'm doing all right. But in this chicane section here, where we make this right-hand turn, then you make another right, followed by a left, and then the final right. As you come to the start finish, the pace will pick up. You will see here we're going 26 miles an hour, but when we get in that area, you'll see it's upwards of almost 30 miles an hour. And there's Jed right there, 4.26. So it's really good to see him. We had a crash from the previous, or maybe I think that was a 4.5. So I'm not sure how they crashed right here before the turn. It's probably because somebody was going to kind of bump out to make that turn, and I'm only going to assume that it was an overlap where the guy's front tire hit a guy's rear tire. And I've come to learn that the front tire is a very sensitive subject. The front tire is very, very sensitive. So, and this is why we encourage each of us to be mindful of your front tire. And just look at the body. Look how we're sit. We have a little bit of weight on the handlebars, but majority of our weight is dispensed on the rear. From the seat to the seat stays to the chain stays. So a lot of the weight is really on the back end of the bike, but the front end is what overlaps the back end of other riders, and that's how we go down. So right now I'm around some hitters. I got Irvin in front of me. I got Mark in front of me, and you see Mark's moving up. So what do? I follow Mark's wheel, and I did this, and that actually kind of gave me a reassurance like, okay, all right, if I'm still here with the group, and I'll tell y'all my secret now, and this is what I had said to myself at this moment. I actually let off his wheel because he was going all the way to the front, and I didn't want to be up there knowing we still had one more lap to go. But this is Conrad's wheel. And I was like, okay, I can stick by this guy. I came underneath. I just held my line here. But I'm like, okay, Irvin is there, or Conrad is there, and you see he's behind me now. But I was like, all right, I'm around Conrad, which is a good location to be because he got second the day prior. So he's probably going to be going for Omnium to have a good representation for today, which really helps me to say he's the guy that I'm targeting. So you see right there, 416 is Conrad, and I'm like, all right, if I can stay close to him, I'm good. And I believe I got Zach on the rear view camera as we're coming up to the final turn before the start finish. So we're now actually coming up to the bell lap. We're coming up to it. We're currently at 32 minutes in this video. In this video, we have 6 minutes left. So that lets you roughly know that this last lap is going to be, well, actually, that's not true because I actually had to do some editing. But this is the final lap, y'all. So this is it right here, bell lap. Now it's like, all right, and I'm sitting right here on Conrad's wheel, and I'm like, all right, if I'm with the group in between turns 5 and 6, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to gun it. I'm going to just put it all out there on the line if I have anything to put out there. So right now you got Jed on my rear camera. You see he's kind of falling back just a little bit. We're passing people because the 28, 29 miles an hour. Heart rate's up to 173, 174. And going about 21 miles right now. And I'm not sure if that's actually accurate due to the fact that I did stop the camera. And this is the last lap. I don't think this lap is over 10 miles long. So yeah, that mileage is off because I ultimately end up getting like 36, 37 miles. So you see we're moving along. You got Zach sitting on Irvin's wheel, and which is a good wheel to sit on. But we're going 28 miles an hour, and we're actually coming up on this left-hand turn where everybody brakes. But, it's better to be safe than sorry. We come into this corner hot, and people hit them brakes, and you really do smell brake dust all over the place with as many people that we had. I believe there was roughly 42 people in this race, and 42 people. And so this was a good one. I think I went through this turn good. I did not hold totally inside just because I found that more people braked a little harder when they went inside there. So I shifted myself to go outside. Now, at the same time, I'm also starting to hurt because, again, this is my longest race. This is by far the first road race that I've done all year, not including what I do here in Chula Vista, such as the flow host ride. But this was, this is totally competitive. Like, I'm all in, So right now, as you see, I'm losing wheels. And this is, at this point in the race, I was like, uh-oh, I'm losing wheels now. And I can't quickly jump back on. So you see 28 miles an hour, heart rate's at 174, which is low, which is decent, but low, because I can get up to 199, and that's more or less in a sprint. But you see here, I'm struggling. I can't get, I'm pushing 700 watts, and I'm not even moving. Like, they're not coming close to me. I'm pushing 600 watts, and they're not coming closer to me. And at some point, I reconnect, but then I think I disconnect again. So let's see when I reconnect with this group. And this guy was really pulling because he was off the back as well. So I was trying to stay close with him. And you see there's like one guy on my rear view camera. So we back here hurting. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was hurting. And me being not on that wheel actually did not help me any, because that made me have to deal with more wind. So you see now I'm pushing over 500 watts, like almost 600 watts there. And I'm still not connecting to the group. And that's just letting you know that I'm starting to get tired. And I cannot close it. Rusty's coming underneath me right now. And I was like, all right, that's okay. I can jump on his wheel. If he gets in front of me, I can jump on here. So here it slows, the Peloton slows down. You see we're going 22 miles an hour. I got Conrad right in front of me. And I believe it was slowing down because the people up front realized that we got rollers. And anytime you're going up a hill, usually the tempo slows down and I'm able to catch up. But at the same time, when me catching up, by the time I catch up to the Peloton, they're already cresting the climb. So by the time I have caught up and then I get to the climb, they're already going down the climb, and I'm, struggling getting up and over it. Even though I had just recently reconnected with the group. So being off the back does make for a harder ride, but at the same time, I was hurting. Like this guy I'm passing right here on my right, you could tell he was hurting. He come out the saddle for literally maybe 1 or 2 seconds trying to put a little bit more wattage in his cadence, and it didn't benefit. He's back there now. If you look in the rearview camera, he's back there just a little bit. And so we're going into this turn, and it goes right into a climb. So I'm like, okay, I'm climbing this, and there's a guy right there. SCBC guy goes underneath me. The guy in the blue kit, he's hurting. My legs are starting to tighten up. And I'm like, oh no, this is not what I want. Like I was already having a hard time jumping back on. My legs are starting to tighten up. And you see right here, unlike the last lap, there was this gap is so big right now. People are passing me over the top of me. Jed passes me with SDBC. They passing me, and because of this, and then Rick passes me, and we go right into another little climb. So as I mentioned to you before, I wanted to utilize my momentum to carry me up this, but I had to push out over 400 watts to make it up this hill. The guys in behind me, they're not catching up. They're dying as well. So I'm out here dying. They're dying, and I'm getting dropped. Everybody looks like ants right now. Can't see anybody because I'm dropped. So what I did was I went ahead and cut that part and brought you up to the last turn. And I was like, I want to pass this guy. I don't know if he's in my race or in the 4 or 5 race. I said, okay, I want to pass that guy. So I pass him, I keep my head down, and I just push to the finish line. I said, I'm not getting pulled this race. I'm going to finish, and that was my goal, was to finish. And everybody, ladies and gentlemen, road runners and Crit Whit fam, your boy finished the race, and I got 33rd. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. On to the next one with your boy C-Dub, a.k.a. Crit Whit. Peace.